uh, Hello, good morning. My name's Gregory. This is courtesy of GregoryTutor.com. We'll be discussing something called the cake method. The cake method is like this step-by-step procedural process where you do one of two things. You can find the least common multiple if you gave me three numbers, and you can find the greatest common factor across these three numbers. The cake method has a number of benefits to it, like 3 or 4 layers to it, so to say. If you practice the cake method a couple times, it usually takes like 1 or 2 tries to kind of get the hang of it, the step-by-step process. But if you keep practicing it like 2 or 3 dozen times with lots of different numbers, one of the direct benefits is it makes it easier to simplify fractions and radicals on the spot. You look at a number and see its prime factors sooner rather than later. So simplifying fractions and radicals, you get faster at that. A second benefit, which is more indirect, is that eventually over time, simplifying equations, solving for unknowns, gets easier going as well. If I give you an equation and all the numbers are even, you'll see that sooner rather than later after practicing the cake method after a while. And then on some level, it's like doing push-ups for the brain, where it kind of just builds your endurance, and so you'll move faster through a standardized test, whether it's the SAT or the AP Calc exam. Good practice with the cake method kind of helps you out with that. On an SAT, sometimes you gotta graph an equation. Sometimes they give you a graph and ask you to figure out the equation. Sometimes they give you the equation, you gotta guess or verify which graph it is. Good practice with the cake method helps you plot test points faster, helps you solve for an unknown, helps you see which side or what number you have to divide both sides of the equation by, or multiply both sides of the equation by. So that's like an indirect benefit of the cake method. And then finally, the underlying logic of the cake method is something called prime factorization, which leads into the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, which helps you out with 300 and 400 level coursework. When you get into modular arithmetic and public key cryptography, it's good to have a good feel and understanding of prime factorization. So if you see 625, it helps if you can see that it's 5 raised to the 4th power. I just have to have one memorized. I saw 625 a lot over my math coursework, so I happen to have it memorized. But modular arithmetic and prime factorization are really helpful in terms of cybersecurity and computer science at the 400 level. Okay, what else I want to say? Okay, let me do an example. Now, 72, 360, and 6, 7, 5. Okay. Can you see those? Let me.